Good morning. I mean, good afternoon. So used to saying good morning. All right. So it's good to see you all. I'm so excited that you decided to join us today for the first of two launch meetings for our fall VIP Sign In to Win extravaganza. Everything always sounds so much more fun when you say extravaganza after it. Did you ever notice that? Like you could have just like Monday night dinner tonight, or you could have a Monday night dinner extravaganza. What would that look like? I think that makes it just fun. Anywho, let's dive in because we have some things to run through with you. We have some stuff to show you, and hopefully by the time we are finished, which is probably about 30 minutes or so, you'll have some clarity around exactly what this looks like, exactly what part you play in it, and be able to ask, and we'll answer any questions that you might have. Frankly, I'm surprised because with Facebook down, I thought we'd have kind of record attendance on this call today. Nobody else has anything else to do since Facebook is down, so I thought maybe I was a good second choice. It's all right. I won't take it personally. So let's get started by just kind of outlining for you exactly what the genesis of this event is and how we're going to make it sing for you. The whole, and I did put something down in writing so you could follow along if you so chose. So let me share my screen with you. And, oh, there we go. Look how pretty, all the leaves. See, get it? It's a fall thing, so there's leaves. No one can say I'm not on top of things. All right, so let's dive in. So the whole concept of this is to run a promotion with your database, right? To create contact, to cause a call to happen, right? And deepen the relationship between you and the people in your database. So that's kind of the idea behind all of this. And one of the ways that we can do that, we can talk about dialing through your database, which we know we talk about all the time, which we know really as a real estate professional is kind of a non-negotiable. And yet, 80% of us don't do it, or at least don't do it regularly. And so the idea behind this promotion is to assist you in communicating with your database as we hit the fall season, to kind of prep you for 2022, find business that's out there for right now, and then of course set the stage for quarter one, so that your quarter one becomes the best quarter one that you've ever had. And so what's cool about doing this at the market center level is that for the most part, we're going to do all the promotional, or at least most of the promotional work for you. You just have to get it out to your database. Now, let me just stop here for a second, because there are some of you who are already thinking, all right, so like, I don't really have a database. Well, the good news is you've got the rest of this week to get that together. And what that means is you all have at least some version of the database, because it looks like this. Are you seeing me on my little screen? I'm holding up my phone, right? So worst case scenario, you'll just work from your phone for the next few weeks as you recognize that you kind of need to get your database into Command or some other CRM that you might choose to use, and to be able to work with it. Here's the other thing I want to just mention. Some of you have said to me, you know what, I don't have a very big database. It doesn't matter to me if you push this promotion out to 11 people. If 11 people are the people that you have the contact info for, and they're kind of your sphere, right? They know you, like you, trust you, and are already predisposed to business with you. Well, why wouldn't you just push it out to those 11? You don't need 715 people to make this promotion work. Make sense? Okay, good. Mary says yes, so I am moving forward. Mary is the judge and jury of whether or not this thing is going to work. So everyone watch Mary Russo. She is in control. Just so you know, Mary's always been in control. She just hides behind the curtain a lot. But it's all Mary, all the time. All right, so this is also not a wait and hope people call you event, right? And the coolest part about it is it's also not a sit down and just dial through your database event. They go on and register, and we're going to talk with you about how that works. They go and register, and they raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in this promotion. Please call me on October 29th. So they're asking you to make a phone call to them, to have a conversation, to get them into this promotion. It's not just a, I hope they call me, and it's not just a random list of people that you're reaching out to, right? So we don't waste any time kind of updating contact info on the phone with people that we haven't spoken to in a while, because that's all going to happen when they sign in to win. And again, I'm going to go through exactly how that happens in just a minute. If they don't answer when you actually call on the 29th to vet them for the submission, well, you still have their all their contact info, and you've actually made the outreach, so you still get some good points for that. And of course, with the social media posts that are part of this, you may well attract new people into your database, new people for you to follow up with, right? So it's another way for you to grow your database and not just connect and communicate with the people that you already have in your database. And then, of course, lastly, call day is both intentional and productive, and certainly lots of fun, right? Because you're hitting a targeted list of people who have already said, please contact me, right? So for those of you who kind of freak out about reaching out into your database, we're giving you something to reach out for, and you're only actually calling people on that day who have said, I'm interested in this promotion, please contact me. And remember, the whole idea of the sign in to win is that they go online to sign in and answer a couple of questions and then submit that. So they sign in, and then you give them a shout back at the end of the month to validate their submission, right? People have to register to be called rather than calling to be registered. All righty. So moving forward, here's the outline of the program. The outline of the program looks like this. And it's kind of fun because you get to use a whole bunch of different media to get this all done. So you're touching people in a bunch of different ways. We're going to have our launch meeting today. We're going to have another launch meeting tomorrow. All of the collateral work is already being worked on and produced, including the landing page website, plus the Google sheet, the Google Doc that it's going to send people to fill in some basic information like their name, phone number, email address, property address, maybe a small question or two about real estate or about their current needs, and then they just hit submit. It's like a 2-minute little form that they fill out, maybe 1-minute little form they fill out, and they hit submit. So that's being worked on, as well as all the collateral material, which I'm going to go through with you right now. So the outline of the program is this: October the 8th, which is this Friday, the first email to your database announcing the event will go out. And again, we are providing the graphic and the copy for the email, right? You can certainly customize it if you like. However, we're going to give you a JPEG to drop into your email, plus some words that go around it if you so choose. If you are emailing a PDF, we'll have a PDF available of the same graphic that announces the event. And that goes out this Friday. The 11th, which I guess is Monday, I think that's Monday, right? The first social media post announcing the event goes out. And again, we are providing the graphic to post to Facebook and to Instagram. So you can go ahead and just post that on Monday. What we are anticipating is we will have a generic kind of KW graphic that goes along with all this. If you want your name and your telephone number, and if you have a logo, your logo on these graphics, you will send those to us by the end of the week, and we will get those completed on your behalf. So if you want them a little bit more custom, we have the power to do that on the back end. October the 13th, so next Wednesday, that's your first text. So you're just going to text the database, reminding them to register, because now they've received an email and they should have seen the social media post. So you're going to send a text. Again, we will provide a copy of that text. So I have to just cut and paste what we're sending to you and get that out to your database. For texting, you can get that out to your database either 1 by 1, depending on how many you have. And I can tell you, because I do 1 by 1 sometimes inside of the market center, if I have to touch a certain 100 people, I do copy and paste. So I don't do mass texting. right? Or if you have a database that's much larger, you can certainly utilize Twilio through command to do more of a mass group text to your database. October the 14th, that's the postcard that should be sent, right? So if you're following this program, you're going to have a jumbo postcard created. We're going to give you some examples of these in just a smidge. And so that should be done by the 14th, so you can be getting that out. Again, we're going to provide the graphic and the copy for the postcard. We'll show you exactly where to go and who to use and how to get that all done. So that all you have to do is follow the instructions and get that out in the mail. On the 15th, which is next Friday, the second social media post regarding the event gets posted. And again, we'll provide that for you. It'll be slightly different than the first one. And then the following week, October 18th to 22nd, that's when you make your first round of phone calls to the database, just making sure that they've received or seen one of the 5 different things that comes before it, right? You've got 2 social media posts, an email, a text, and a postcard. All that should have landed with your database the week of the 18th to 22nd. So you'll take that week just to kind of reach out. You'll do a lot of message leaving. I can almost promise you that. Simply saying, hey, it's Rick. Just wanted to make sure that you were aware of our fall VIP sign in to win program. I've sent out a number of things on that. So just wanted to make sure that you've seen it and that you are registered to win, because the prizes are pretty awesome. You know, if you need more details on it or you haven't seen anything yet, just give me a shout. So that's that 18th to 22nd where we'll make some phone calls to make sure they know about it. Then on the 22nd, that's 2 Fridays from now or 3 Fridays from now, I can't count. The third social media post reminding them about the event will go out. So again, we'll provide that for you. You just have to post it on your social media platforms. Then the 25th, which is the Monday of the week of the event, the last email goes out to the database reminding them about the event. Again, we will provide all the collateral for you. We'll provide that JPEG and or PDF, as well as copy that you can use. So it's literally just cut and paste and then push the button and get that out to your database. And that brings us then to the day of the event. The day of the event, there's another text to everyone who has registered to make sure they remember that today is the day that you're going to be reaching out. So they should watch for your phone call and answer the phone when you call. Right, so the day of the event, a text in the morning to remind registrants to watch for that call. Again, we provide you with the copy, so you just have to take what we send and copy and paste it over into your list of registrants. And then, of course, for the rest of that day, you're simply going to call the people who are registered. Right, we'll provide both the process for that and a script for the calls. It can be as business related as you choose to make it. It can be as casual or as formal as you choose to make it. We'll give you scripts for both. Debbie's on the call and she's done this a bunch of times already with her own database. So she's going to give us her thoughts about what works best in terms of what that call looks like. And then the weekend, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you've connected with all your people on Friday, right? That weekend, you'll get back with the Market Center. We'll show you the process of how to get that back to the Market Center, all the people that you actually connected with, so that they can have their submissions in. Remember, if they don't take your call that day, they've signed in to win, but they haven't gotten all the way through the process. They do have to have a conversation with you in order to be entered in to win. So you'll give us back all the submissions, so we can build that wheel of names. And then on Monday, November the 1st, we spin that wheel of names to reveal the winners of the prizes. And then during that week, another email and social media post will go out from each of you announcing who the winners are. Here's what's fun. If Alice's folks win the grand prize, it doesn't matter if I'm sending out a notice about who the winners are, because nobody that knows me knows all the people in my database, right? They don't know that there were actually people in Alice's database who won. So all they're seeing when I send that email and post that post on social media is that I personally, you, gave away these prizes. right? And that's the whole point of this, is we're going really big with the prizes to make sure that you look as powerful as possible to the people in your database. And it will look like every single one of you had a win inside of your database. And then, of course, if you really want power from this program, that week of November 1st, after the winners are chosen, give me a call back to everybody who didn't win to say, hey, you know, it was so great. It was so much fun for you to play. Thanks so much for being a part of my world. Just note that this is not the last time we're going to do this. So, you know, watch out for the next one, and we hope you're a winner the next time. And lastly, the prizes. We have 2 grand prizes, right? We expect that there will be a minimum of 50 of you who choose to move forward with this with your database, right? That kind of is our minimum for being able to promote this in the way that we are going to promote it. And so 2 grand prizes for a minimum of 50 of you seemed like the right amount. Dinner for 10 at either the Inn at Pound Ridge or Farmer and the Fish, both in Pound Ridge and in Purdy's in New York. And grand prize number 2 is a Broadway weekend for 2, which includes 2 ticks times 2 Broadway shows, so 4 tickets total, hotel for 2 nights, and dinner for both of those nights. So that's what it all looks like, right? I'll leave the outline of the program up again, just so for those of you who didn't see it. And again, I will get this out to you as soon as we have the secondary meeting tomorrow at 11. So by noon tomorrow, I'll pass this out so that you have it in your hot little hands. You can use it as a guide. Debbie, do you have some collateral material that you want to kind of show everybody so they know what we're talking about, and then we'll open it up for questions?
I can do that if you can let me share.
Oh, yes, I can absolutely do that. So while you're getting that stuff on the screen, Debbie, you've done this a couple of times already with your database, yes?
I have.
Can you tell us the results? How has it gone? Is it easy? Is it hard? Is it?
So the sign in to win is by far easier than the call in to win. And that's the model that we're doing this exercise on. I think the timing of this is magnificent. I'm very excited I'm devoting the month of October to touching, and touching again the database. I'm choosing a pretty broad span of people to be touching. I will tell you, is there anybody on this call who, when they saw all of those touches, thought, oh my God, that is such overkill. I'm going to do half of those, or maybe less than half of those. Don't fall into that temptation. And yet, if you only do half, only do half. Do as many as you possibly can, because that's the magic. The magic is in the multiple touches. There's a thing with marketing that you have to see a message about 10 times before it really registers. And that's what you're giving your database the opportunity to do. See this about 10 times and take action. So that's really important. The second part is every touch is just an expression of your interest and concern for the people. And we are going to be giving you scripts to help you with some very purposeful language for when you are doing the talks and the texts. So, and they didn't come from me. They came from people who are doing this at a very high level across the nation. So we're really looking to assemble a very an excellent program for you to implement for results. The other thing is October, honest and truly, October is such an important month in the business. It's when you really set yourself up to bring the year home to a strong end and also start strong. So
Love it. All right, so let's get some stuff on the screen so people can see what it is we're
here
talking
we
about.
go. Okay, so I'm going to go to that desktop.
And by the way, if it was just coming from you, we'd be just as happy, because frankly, you've been doing this at a pretty high level as well.
Well,
So
you're good to say so. Okay, so I just pulled up some random things here. This is beginning with the end, sorry. This is the end of our March call in to win, and I'm gonna open that up a little bigger.
You need to move the screen. There you go.
Yep, I'll take that down. Okay, are you good?
Yeah.
And this was a Zoom call where we pulled the names and then we created a landing page and sent that out to the whole database. So that was how they found out who the winner was. So that's one piece.
Yeah,
This,
so just pause there for a second, because how we're
Yep.
going to work that, because we're doing this all as a brokerage, is we will have the same kind of idea. We're going to do that wheel of names. As many of you who want to be on a Zoom call, when we pull it, we'll be on that Zoom call to cheer and be, you know, hooray, hooray, hooray. And we will record that, and then we will give you guys the link to that recording so that you can do the same. You can, so that people can see it live, even though it won't actually be live.
right. Okay, and then the next was the, this is a Google form this is part of a Google form. Oh yeah, and I made this also a landing page. You don't have to do this. I've just delivered this in multiple media, but the Google form is just a link, which when they open it up, you all are familiar with Google Forms, then they have access to filling it out, and it comes back to you as a spreadsheet. And you get all of the information in a quick spreadsheet.
Okay, so just pause there half a second. And and how we're going to work this, guys, is because we're, again, doing it at scale, all of your folks are going to be directed to the same landing page and the same button to click to sign in to win. And then on the back end, so one of the first questions will be, you know, who is your Keller Williams agent? And so when your name goes in there, then their information comes on the bottom, that the spreadsheet populates on the back end. We'll then have a staff member going through that sorting it by name, and then delivering each of the people who have you as that contact person, all that information to you. So that way we don't have to worry about separate pages for everybody, and you don't have to worry about how do I build it, right? So we're going to just do it at scale, and then we'll work on the back end of it to make sure that you get everybody that says you are the connection.
And then the last thing that I pulled up and was the direct mail piece that we did. This was a postcard, and it just had all of the contact information in it. And this was actually is this a sign in to win or a call in to? This might have been a call in to win. But just had just had all of the information on the postcard, and that went out to the same database that we were reaching out to in other media. Those were the only things that I was able to pull up.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So again, we have people who are working on the collateral material, so we're just going to get that to you so that you don't have to worry about building any of it. You just have to take it and either drop it into an email or post it on social media. It's really just a copy and paste. Heather asked a question before about where do I send my info to if I want if I want a certain name, telephone number, and a logo on my stuff, where do I send that? And so I'm going to pop that in the chat right now, because here's the path that you're going to follow if you want to participate in this. You have to let us know, right? And the way you're going to let us know is you're going to send an email to newkwlistings@gmail.com, newkwlistings@gmail.com. Yes, that's the one we were using over the summer for new KW listings, but we're going to use it for this for now, because why create a whole new one, right? So you're going to send it to newkwlistings@gmail.com and just say, yes, I'm in, count me in, yes, 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 please, please, please. And if you have certain customizations, name, be clear about what name you want. I know that sounds weird, but certain people are called something different in business than they are in a Zoom room. So, and or on our roster. So be clear about the name, be clear about your telephone number, be clear about your email address, and then be clear about, then you can attach to your logo. And then we will go ahead and get that handled for you. Please note that because we're doing this, again, at scale, there will not be an opportunity for you to review it and proof it and all that kind of stuff. There's just not manpower and or time to go down that path. So be clear about what it is you want in your graphic, and we will custom design that the best way we know how. And here's the good news: nobody really looks at all this stuff anyway, so it really doesn't matter what it looks like. All you need to do is be touching them over and over again, saying, hey, there's cool prizes. I love you. Please love me back. And cool prizes, right? So it doesn't really much matter what it all looks like. And we'll make sure that it looks awesome as well. Okay, so do we want PNG or JPEG? That's a great question, Heather, that I don't know the answer to because I'm not the guy doing it. So if you have both, send both. Right, and that way, our folks on the back end can use whichever one makes the best sense. Thank you for asking that. Diane, I'm gonna get to that question in just a second, because I'm gonna ask Debbie to talk about how she's been working with handling some of these touches via command and or Twilio or those kinds of things. But before we get into the technical piece of it, I wanted to ask if there were any conceptual questions or process questions that we could pivot to and I can help answer for you. Anybody have questions about how it will work, why it's awesome, what we'll do? So just go ahead and either unmute or raise your little digital hand. John.
Hey, Rick. Yeah, I was just thinking, because the prizes sound fantastic, but would we want to consider maybe breaking up the dinner for 10 into multiple smaller size prizes so that we have like different winners with maybe $150 gift cards each or something like that? Or
yeah, so the reason we're doing the big stuff is because we're paying for it. And so if the whole idea of this is to model for you how to run one of these so that in the future you can just choose to kind of run them yourselves. And if you then wanted to do a couple of smaller ones to hit more people specifically in your database, we certainly leave that to you for the future. But for this time, we're going to do just the two really big prizes, because the bigger the prize, the more interest you will get, right? A lot of the people in your database don't really need $150 to go out to dinner, right? Let's remember where we live and work, right? And yet there are a bunch of people who are like, oh, okay, dinner for 10? Like that's a whole different experience, right? Something that costs $1,000 or $1,500, you'll get better response. So that's why we've gone big this time instead of doing smaller prizes, because you'll just have more interest in it, even though there'll be fewer winners.
And I'm going to add, if John, you want to offer out a smaller thing of dinner to your people, well, go ahead and do it. It doesn't have to be part of your main offering. Do it after the fact. Say, and oh, by the way, we had a bonus, blah, 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 and you won this. 100% do it. I'm actually thinking of doing that myself.
Yeah, it's actually a great idea. Do it as a follow-up, just to make sure that somebody in your database actually does win. That's a great idea. Love it. Heather.
I was just going to say, so is the value going to be in the material? So it'll say dinner for 10 or value worth. It'll say the value, because that's probably a big thing. Okay.
Yeah, we've estimated that each side is about $1,600, so that's what we're going to use, and it will absolutely say that in the materials. Okay. Yeah, we want people to know how awesome we are and how much we're giving them. Absolutely. What else? Good. What other questions do you have? Yes, Tony.
I'm probably going to have questions like afterwards. Is there somebody that we can go to about this after the fact?
Yeah, no, there's not. This is your one opportunity. So think really long and hard before you pass on it. Yeah, no, of course. We're the way we're setting this up is we're literally going to hold anybody's hand who needs to be handheld through this process. We're going to do as much or as little as you need and want us to do. The staff is geared up to really dive in and make this the focus for October. And so any questions you have along the way, we will, when you come back and say yes to that email address, we will get you kind of a next steps outline and who to call for what and how it's all going to work. We're still building that on the back end. So I don't have that to share with you today, but by the end of the week, when we have all the yeses back and are sharing collateral, we'll have all that for you.
Hey, Rick, what's the minimum amount of information you need in command database for this to work?
So Debbie, John, hold that question just half a second, because again, I'm gonna push the tech questions to the end. Anybody else have a process or a concept question before we move into the tech questions?
Hey, Rick.
Yes, Cal.
I have not been able to, and my fault, to send out notes to all of my potential people, telling them I'm in the real estate business. How does that work for a person like me and maybe some other people that have a similar situation?
Yeah, so you could certainly combine the two, right? So, hey, great news! Here's the new business venture I've launched into, and as a grand opening extravaganza, here's what I'm doing, right? And you could combine the two, or you could get real busy today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, and get those notes in the mail or get those conversations had, such that by the end of the week you're ready to go ahead and launch. I don't think, Cal, I would say just combine the two. People will think, wow, look at him go.
I think that's a great idea.
Sure thing. Jonathan.
So my database will be excited about the Broadway, right? But I don't know where the restaurants are located. How locked in are those prizes? Because geographically, that would obviously be a problem for me.
Yeah, sure. So what I would say is if somebody from we're not going to purchase anything until after the winners are chosen. And so if somebody from way east like you, somebody in that area is the winner and doesn't want to drive to New York, because both of those restaurants are on the New York Connecticut line, we'll just pivot and find someplace awesome in Hartford, or find someplace awesome in Wallingford or in Middletown, or
Cool.
we'll just make the change. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. Whoever has the winning database person, we'll just work with you and that person to figure out what makes the best sense. We're not locked in at all to that, because we'll spend the money either way, and we might as well get it to somebody who really wants to do X and not where we said. Diane has a question in the chat. Since I'm not already their agent, will it be obvious to enter my name? Diane, you're going to have to explain that to me. I'm not sure, because again, this is mostly for your database, right? So tell
Right.
me.
Right, but I mean, I just like the way the wordage is on the form. I might send this to people that I'm not, that I got on Facebook ads or something.
Yeah. So go ahead, Debbie.
But you're going to be sending it via the link
my
will be
email.
sent via an email, which will have your name on it, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you can, in your email copy, you can edit your email copy and say, be sure to put my name as your agent.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
We may make that the standard copy as well, just to reinforce it.
Yeah, and then when does the logo due?
Everything is due like in the next 48 to 72 hours.
Okay,
Right,
thank you.
because we're just launching this and going, right? And so the first if I remember correctly, the first touch is this Friday, right? The 8th. Yeah, that's the email. So we need things really by Wednesday morning ish to make sure that we're ready for everybody on Friday to deliver the collateral materials. And again, so the logo and your yes all go to the same place in the same email. It's newkwlistings@gmail.com, right? Thank you, Silva. newkwlistings@gmail.com. That's going to be the communication portal for this event. So anything that you're sending, your yeses, your any attachments, your logo, any of that goes there. The other thing I'll mention is we will word the question to Diane's question, because you're right. If you're posting it, you may get strangers as well, right? So we'll word that first question a little differently too. It'll say, who is your KW agent, but there'll also be something in parentheses that maybe says, or who was the contact person, who was the point person where you first heard of this contest or something like that. We'll make it make sense for the grow the database side as well.
Thank you.
Sure thing. Anybody else with process or concept questions? Because I know we do have at least two. Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, the contact form, will there be a drop down with all the agents' names, or will it just be that they enter it?
Yeah, I don't think so. The answer is I'm not sure. I've asked for that to happen. I just don't know how simple and quick that is from a simple Google sheet. If it's easy to do, that we will do that. If it's going to delay the whole process, then we're just going to make it an entry entry field. So
Okay, thank you.
we're looking at that right now. I just don't have an answer yet. Heather.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that the landing page, the Google form and the landing page, a QR code works really well with that. Just as an idea, it might be, I don't know if that's already passé, but I think that's kind of a cool way for people to be able to use it.
Yeah, I agree. And we do expect to be able to develop a QR code to bring you to the landing page and put that on the collateral material. So that is definitely part of the plan. So here's the good news. We have a 24-year-old designing all of your collateral material. So they're like right up to speed with exactly what should. So the good news is I'm not doing it, right? So and I think that what's cool is that it's not passé at this point. I think the pandemic has brought QR codes back to life and given them a whole new life that never really took off the first time around.
They work really well with that.
That's especially good on the print material. If you're going to be delivering a postcard, for example, use the QR code, not a URL.
Yeah, agreed. And let's just talk about the postcard real quick, right? So the only real cost to you in all of this, besides your time, right, is that postcard, right? So we're going to design the postcard for you. We're going to show you where to go to get it. But what we're not doing is paying for the postcard to go out, right? So that the postcard printing and the mailing on that will be on each of you for the people that you choose to send it to. So that's really the only cost in all this. It's a minimal cost certainly, but just to be clear, so that you're not wondering like where your reimbursement check is for that. So that one's on you. We'll take care of everything else, but you're going to do the postcard mailing. Heather.
Just wondering too, with the data that you all will be collecting, which I think is awesome, by the way, so it doesn't bother me at all, but is there any plans to do anything with any of those contact data, database names or anything as a company, or is you're just doing that as a way to funnel it through for us?
Yeah, no, the data is your data because it's coming from your database. So anything that has your name attached to it will get pushed to you and only pushed to you. So there's no plans to use that in any way, shape, or form. That certainly without your permission, right? If people are attached to you, if we ever said, hey, we have this list, we would come back to you and say, here's a plan. Does everyone support that plan? But no, there are no, it's just a pass through to you.
Yeah, I love to even hear that because I just hope everybody knows how different that is from any other business, any other real estate company really in the country, I think. So it's just a really great reminder that, most other companies would be using our data.
Yeah, thanks for that reminder too. It's because it's such second nature to us that we forget that it's unique. And so thank you for that reminder. We're the only reason we're doing this is to support you. It has, right. So, Debbie, there were two questions. I know you had something to talk about, and then if you could pivot into just talking a little bit about how you're using Command, I'll go and get you the questions again to be specific on them.
As I was listening to all of this, it struck me that anybody who's doing open houses this month should have a sheet. It should be your announcement sheet or your sign-in sheet with the QR code for them to register right there at the open house. So that's another thing we'll add on and send out a link for that, that people can then just print a PDF.
Yeah,
Okay.
indeed.
Mhm. I know, who
Just trying
asked
to find the question.
John asked, what's the basic information you need in command or in a database to do this? So it's whatever media you're going to use to communicate. If you're using all of them, it's going to be name, cell number, email address, and primary mailing address. Those 4 pieces of information are what you want in your database to be able to communicate in all of the media. Additionally, you may want, if you're working in command, you may want to put their social media link on their contact record, so you have an easy way to deliver to them that way. But that's the basic information.
Got it. And then the other question that we had for command is, can this, like, I'm assuming, Diane, and correct me if I'm wrong, that can this be sent out through command, right? So if you have all of your contacts in command, can you do the mass email through command once the collateral material is delivered and you just drop in the JPEG?
100%. The intention is we may make more than one little smart plan that you will be able to access through the library, and then customize a little bit. But we'll also have plug and plays that you can just blast out, even if you cut and paste into the emails. And oh, by the way, tomorrow we're doing opportunities in command. Next week, we're doing smart plans. Next week on Tuesday at 3 o'clock, smart plans. So you have another week to work on your database to do this through command. You can do this through other database management companies as well. It's just all synthesized in command. And next week, Tuesday, we will work on smart plans so that you can have a familiarity with that. So it doesn't all seem so foreign.
And the other thing we expect to do is if it's seeming like, okay, well, I need to know a whole lot in order to get this done, right? I want you to just watch me take a deep breath, breathe in, hold it for about 2, and then out. Pause. We're here to kind of help you through that. If there's a question about, well, how do I send? I have my contacts in command. How do I send this mass database? On the day of the email mass database thing, we will be certain to have at least one class that day to show you how to mass email things out of command, right? So this Friday will be that first email thing. If you don't know how to do that, we'll just make sure that you have that opportunity. We'll also, on that training call, give you some ideas for those of you not utilizing command or don't have all your contacts in command just yet. We'll give you thoughts about what else you can use, right? If you have a Gmail account, it's just a matter of having all of the email addresses and then you send it to yourself and BCC everybody. So we'll give you some other strategies on that quick little 30-minute training each day that we're doing this. On the text day, we'll have a little training on utilizing Twilio through command, right? And then talk about some other more basic opportunities for you. So I mean it when I say we're going to be here to support you through each and every piece of this, regardless of how technically savvy you are, regardless of where your contacts are. We're just going to figure it out with you. So if you're stuck, just reach out and say, okay, I'm stuck and here's what I'm stuck with. Just know that you're going to get some suggestions to say, okay, well, if you're stuck on that, here's what we'll need you to do in the next 48 hours so that you can catch up and get this stuff out. The good news is that by saying yes to this, if you have run a business that has not been dependent upon keeping and maintaining a database, this program will force you to move in that direction. And it's another reason we're putting this whole thing together for you to help guide you into look, your business is your database. It's the non-negotiable of lead sources. And so if you're choosing for some reason not to maintain a database, we want to help you kind of through that and say, here's what we'd like, we'll set up with you so that this whole kind of program becomes simpler.
And
Heather.
I would add to that, in the next 48 hours, I want you to make a list. If you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have any of my database ready to go, I want you to make a list, and I'm going to give you a target, 50 names. I want you to come up with 50 names of people that you go, oh, I should be talking to those people. Just people you know. Don't think in terms of, oh, they're going to sell their house. No. Who do you know? Who do you like? Who have you not seen for a while? Write a list of 50 names and then figure out what you have and what you need to get to be able to communicate with them.
Love it. Heather, take us home.
Well, this sort of piggybacks on Debbie's. I was going to ask Debbie the question too, because her database is so amazing. Like for some of us that have certain people, we have an email, certain people we have a phone number, certain people we have the address. Would you say to spend this week getting all of that information for all of these people, or like, do we only put people in this program that we have all 4 of those bits of contact information for? Or how would you say, what's the most important piece of data to have for these people? Advice.
We all of our databases are missing pieces of information. So find what you have, record what you have, and then take this as the opportunity, because remember that Google form is you're going to deliver it in multiple media, and it'll give you an opportunity to collect information you're missing. That's a big part of the value of this exercise.
Yeah. Well, I would say that, obviously most of my people, or 99% of my people, at least have an address. So I'm just, at least the one piece is going out. When is the mail piece going out? Because that'll be an opportunity to collect
I think I made the 14th. Does it say the 14th? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And
so we'll be collecting data from that.
If you put those people in command, you'll be absolutely dazzled at how easy it is to do the labels through command. Dazzled.
Oh yeah, I have everything in command.
And the follow up to that, to Heather's question, because it's a great question. What I would encourage you to do is, between now and Friday, get the data that you can get if you want to make a focus. Maybe even by, if you have just a phone number or an email, reaching out to say, hey, we have this awesome VIP program that I'm going to need some additional information from you on, if you want to participate, and get it that way. Or if you're missing pieces, I wouldn't take those people out of the running. If you only have an email address, well, then maybe those are the ones who just get the emails. And if you only have an email and a home address, they get the email and the postcard. If you only have a telephone, they get the text and the call, right? So keep them in, because as Debbie's point, the point Debbie made is, when they go to the Google Doc, the sign in to win, all of those fields will be required. So that what you'll get back on the other end will flesh out the database.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I promised you 30 minutes and we're at 49. So any last questions before we finish? Okay, awesome. So I hope this sounds exciting. I hope that you'll all play because we're really excited to be able to bring it to you. And the more people who play, the more often we're going to do it. So go tell your friends, look around, see who wasn't here. Go tell your friends, you know what? You can't not do this, because frankly, even if you don't care about it, I care enough about it that I want them to keep doing it. So we have to drive the numbers up, right? The more people that we plug into this, the more opportunity for each of us to have these kinds of things be repeated. So let's get everybody on board that we can. Remember, this was recorded, so it'll be posted tomorrow morning if you need to rewatch it to see what the story is. We have another 11 o'clock tomorrow if you want to jump on and ask additional questions that you think of overnight. And lastly, the information that you'll need to take the next steps will come to you when you say yes to newkwlistings@gmail.com. send us the yes, send us what name you want, what info, whatever you want to send us. And that's how you say yes to this. So we hope that you're as excited as we are. We expect that it's going to be an awesome, awesome success. And, you know, nobody else had anything to do in October, right? So we're just going to do this. All right, guys, have a spectacular afternoon. We are so grateful for you. Have a great one.